por allá. Allá. Sí, no me importa si tú quieres. Ok, está bien. ¿Qué es lo que mi gente? It's your boy J-Rod, and right now I'm at the park. I'm leaving right now, actually. I'm waiting for my Uber. Sorry, I did not bring my microphone with me because I don't like carrying around my microphone outside. I feel like somebody's gonna steal it. Sorry if you can't hear me. I'm gonna try to turn up the volume when I edit this video. But anyway, que lo que? I saw somebody I knew. But yeah, so I saw Fat Joe, his interview, his Hot 97 interview, and he was talking about, well, I'll just play the clip for you.
Brazilian music, all of it. Dominican music, Spanish drums, all the music is African music. So, you know, you getting on the Afro beat now. I've been in Africa. They've been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It ain't new. All the music is African. You know what I'm saying? But you right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even in Puerto Rico, when you go to Caribbean, like let's speak about Latinos not being black. Latinos are black. Mm-hmm. In Cuba at one time, there was 8 million Cubans. 5 million, unfortunately, were slaves. 3 million were actual Cubans. And they integrated and had babies. Same thing with Puerto Rico. When you go to Loíza, and when you talk about Santeria, that came from the motherland, Africa. You know, sometimes Latinos might even identify themselves with African and black culture more than black people. This ain't no crazy thing. Fat Joe ain't on crack. He know what he's talking about.
Okay, so in that clip, you can hear where Fat Joe, he says that he thinks Latinos are black and yada, 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 this and that. So my whole thoughts on it is, I mean, Fat Joe, you the homie and all. You know, I've been with you since the lean back era. But I have to disagree with what he said when he said that he believes that Latinos are black. I think I understood what he was trying to say, but he just didn't articulate it well. I think he was trying to say that, like, there are Latinos that are black, and which is true, but when he said that, like, all the Latinos are black, that's insinuating that he's talking about all Latinos. And to me, I disagree, because that's almost like saying, you know, Americans are black. Well, it's like, yeah, Americans are black, but there are so many different types of Americans. There are white Americans, there are Asian Americans, there are Indian Americans. Like, you get what I'm saying? So when he said that all Latinos are black, I kind of disagree with that statement. And then on top of that, Latino isn't actually a race, and that's another thing that I have to explain. And I know some YouTubers out here that are trying to argue that Latino is a race, but to me, Latino is not a race. It just doesn't make sense, you know. American is not a race. American is a nationality. That's another thing that people have to learn, the difference between nationality and race. So nationality is where you're from, is where you're born. So like, for example, me, I was born in America, so my nationality is American, but my race, I'm black. And you know, it's the same thing with like a Jamaican. A person from Jamaica was born in Jamaica, but their race, they're black. And so I feel like people confuse that a little bit. So like, that's when he said those little comments, it kind of was confusing to a lot of people, or a lot of people weren't understanding. Shit. Bro, there's so many mosquitoes out here. When people say black, I think a lot of people automatically associate that with African American. And that's another thing that people should understand, I guess, that African American and black can mean two different things, okay? They can mean the same thing and they can be two different things, depending on the context. So, for example, African American, that was a term popularized around in the 80s. That was referring to black people whose nationality was American, so they'll be African American. But then, for example, you take a British person who happens to live in America, you wouldn't call that person African American. For example, like Naomi Campbell. But I think a lot of times when Latinos hear the word black, they automatically assume that we're associating them with African Americans, and that's not what we're saying. But I understood what Fat Joe was saying in terms of that. I got the point that he was trying to make. He was trying to say that there are Latinos that do derive from the African diaspora, and it's true, because, you know, like with slavery and things like that. And then he started to talk about the music. He was saying like Brazilian music and reggaeton dembo, like all those things, like when you break it down and you go back into the history, it all comes from Africa. Even salsa, even though salsa originated in Cuba, a lot of the things that come out of salsa derive from Africa. So I get what Fat Joe was trying to say. I just don't think he expressed his point clear enough, and I feel like he left out a couple of things that made people confused, especially the part when he said Latinos are black, because obviously that is not true. Jennifer Lopez, for example, she is not black. Daddy Yankee, Latino, he is not black. Shakira, Latina, she is not black. Pitbull, Latino, he is not black. Selena, a Latina, but she wasn't black. But guys, tell me what you think about this. I'm actually about to put my camera away because, you know, some people are kind of looking and stuff, and they're looking kind of sketchy, but don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. And I'm going to be doing another Q&A video, so please leave any other questions that you have for me. I'm going to try to answer those and on my next Q&A video. I already done put the poll up on Instagram, so guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and catch me on the next video. Peace.